Peace and love, family and friends, naysayers, whomever. My name is Leon Wheeler Jr., and this is Master Making in Motion. In today's brief talk, they cry out. Who is they? Capital question, huh? Who is they? Well, for the most part, they are our children. However, without a doubt, a contradiction, that also applies to us, the so called adults. I can have a whole subject matter speech on what actually is an adult in itself. And maybe I will at another time. That's why I use the terminology so called. But this is primarily a cry for my babies. A cry out for help from our babies. And this is a cry out that goes unattended to, unheard, quite often, for many, many years. And when that happens, our children grow up with all type of issues, problems that has pledged them for years, for decades, for their whole life. And a lot of times they can't actually recover from that. Now, I can speak about this particular subject matter because of my personal experience, because I've given quite a bit of time paying attention to the mindsets of children. I've always been somewhat good with spotting potentials and also noticing issues. And I guess that's because of the issues that I've had and the problems that I've been through. And me being a student of humanity, of our particular culture, my race, and a lover for humanity, and again, my particular community, my people, I pay more attention to that than probably the average kid. And most of it probably wasn't even acknowledged. I wasn't even conscious of what I was doing, but this is who I am. So I paid attention. I've always paid attention. And I've always craved a certain amount of attention from the elders, from my parents, the grown people, so called grown people in my community, and grown people. I've always sought out for attention. So I can spot that in today's children very easily. And I want to also bring this particular idea or concept to, or I guess a fact about who I am and what I do and why I do what I do is my primary focus is on the children that seems to be suffering the most in the inner city. Again, black children nonetheless. However, other brown-skinned children, Mexicans, I don't know if it's appropriate to call them Latinos or whomever, even European kids that live in the ghettos, in the community amongst us. We're all one. But my focus again is on those who seem to be suffering the most. And a lot of time it may not even actually be that way. It may look that way. They say the grass is greener on the other side. Till you get over there and take a look at it, you might not realize that it's pretty bad over there too. Probably worse than it is even where you at. But we can't see that in our understanding as youngsters. We don't have the knowledge to put all this together appropriately. So we we look at what we see and we take that as face value, and that's what it is. But that's not normally what it. It's not always what it is. And I know that happens with me growing up in a two-family household with my mother and father. A lot of the children looked at my situation and they saw it to be, I guess, abnormal because a lot of the families, the man wasn't in the house. So they figured that my situation was, I guess almost perfect. But that was my community, though. That was the block I stayed on. The block that I stayed on, most families in that block were two-parent households. That wasn't the case for all the people that I knew outside of the neighborhood, different areas, but that was my block. So it was normal for me. But from other kids, they were talking, they would look at that and see that as something that's like extraordinary. It was unbelievable. So, because I've paid attention to that, and again, this is my focus to work with the kids who's the most downtrodden, the ones who feel that they have the least opportunities. And we're all equally in the same boat on that for the most part. Anyway, it's about the babies and their cry for leadership, their cry for support, for guidance and understanding. This is what the babies are seeking from their parents: proper leadership, proper guidance. They want to learn about themselves. They want to learn, they want to be inspired. And a lot of us have failed tremendously in those regards. And it's time. It's time to, we have to change this situation. Leadership, unfortunately, first and foremost, must start in our homes. It must start with the parents. It must start from mommy and daddy. It must. And it can extend outwardly if you're not on track. So this is the call for the so-called parents, the adults, to let's do what's necessary. Let's take a real evaluation of our situation and do what we must to change the course of our lives. We've been going down the same slope for as long as I can recall. And all I've seen, unfortunately, is semi-weak or semi-strong or half-full glass of leadership. And that never moved me. And especially now as individuals striving to become a master over self, that never moved me. And I know it doesn't move the children today. And they look to you and they leash out. They do all types of negative stuff to get your attention, to let you know, hey, we need your help, mommy. We need your help, daddy. We're lost, and you're not helping us. They don't know how to put that in words, but their actions are saying that to you when they behave in a negative light. When they go outside and they reap havoc on the neighbor's yard or whatever nonsense that they may be doing at a young age, they're doing it because they're crying out for attention, for help, for leadership, for guidance. And we've been going down that slope, following the same semi leaderships with this pacification tactics that does not work. It doesn't motivate the children. I've been, for the last few days, I've been just trying to zero in on positive leadership, reinforcement of strong leadership. And I have to be honest, I'm baffled about the conversation or the information that's available for us to see what strong leadership look like. The best leadership that I've ever realized, recognized in my studies, for me, has been Malcolm X. He inspired me a hundredfold, and I've always wondered what Malcolm would be like today, or had he not got killed in 1968. No, excuse me, 1965. Yeah, 65. My apologies. I'm thinking about King in 68. So that crossed my mind. What he had what he would have evolved to had he stayed alive. Because we know he had a breakup with the Nation of Islam, and there was a disagreement between him and Elijah Muhammad, the great Elijah Muhammad, who again is another great leader. To me, they great because they dealt with the downtrodden. They were in the trenches. dealing with ex-drug addicts, dope fiends, thieves. I mean, the bottom of the barrel, the degenerates, people who was perceived to be unredeemable, and they woke him up and they clinked him up. Elijah Muhammad, with his philosophy of building the Nation of Islam, and clinked these individuals up. Malcolm was one of those individuals, and and motivated them to speak from a dignified mannerism, being strong, positive role models. And Malcolm is, to me, the epitome, the, the monumental example of someone coming from the bottom of the barrel and becoming one of the greatest inspirations in our lifetime, at least for me. Again, so this is what motivated me. I was looking for leadership, and I didn't want any wishy-washy, cream puffy type of leadership, and I still don't today. I don't, and the kids don't respect that. They're losing religion every day because when they look into the pulpits, and they see the preachers and the things that they do, that's not motivating them anymore. And then we do got some prolific preachers out there that's really dedicated. But a lot of times we fall from grace and we stop doing what's necessary and we stop putting the people first. And we, they say absolute power corrupts absolutely all the time. And I see that fall from grace. And that may have been a problem with all of our organizations for the most part. But when I saw Malcolm, I never saw a man that vacillated. He always stood for his conviction, and he evolved and grew and grew and grew, and he's my inspiration for motivation. I also love Wharf D. Muhammad as a leader. So I say that the babies are crying out, and they're looking for leadership, and they want this leadership from their parents. They're crying out to their mommy, 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 help me, teach me, guide me, be a parent to me, be a mother to me. Set goals and standards and principles. Make me abide by some rules that's going to help me become the individual that I aspire to be. In my spirit, I know something is wrong. This is what these kids are saying. That's what I said as a kid. I knew something was wrong. And I rebelled because of that. And they rebelled because of that same instance today. And I know it, I see it. I've watched these kids. I pay attention to them still today. I kind of keep a distance because you can't talk to them, or today's society right now is, I mean, it became so worse now that they're quick to turn someone with good intentions into a predator. And they exploit that situation. And even the parents, I mean, everybody is looking for a way to get up. So we have to be careful on what we do. And I love the children, and I want to try to reach them, but again, I have to stay at a distance. But I want to motivate the parents, and I want to work with the children too. I'm creating in my mind different ways that I can possibly be more instrumental in helping kids on a bigger scale. I've always do it on small scales. I've been doing it all my life, and I've been, I guess, I've been successful, in my opinion, with quite a few individuals. I know I've been successful, and I love what I do. But again, I've been making small steps, and I feel like I'm a giant making baby steps. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but this is what society has created. So I'm going to eventually call out for some other brothers to possibly work with me. Let's work together, even though our ideologies are gonna vary, and that shouldn't be a factor to stop us from working together to help these babies, to build proper leadership, to be great leaders amongst our children, to be teachers, masters in our own particular fields and in our own time with our own skills. And we should be able to work together, irregardless of our religious beliefs or whatever, or political beliefs. This is, I mean, we still have a foundation that is beyond those belief systems. We're black. We have the same oppressors, the same laws that's affecting all of us, the same regulations. We're all under the same footstep of oppression from the same individuals. So that's enough reason for us to be able to work together, irregardless. And I tell you again, our children, they're begging for help. They're begging their mothers, Mom, why? Why? Dad, where are you? Why aren't you here? Why is you and mother fighting so much? Why aren't we a family? Why? 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 These kids want to know. And it's poor leadership. And we're following individuals or not following anyone. So we have to educate ourselves. We have to become more astute mentally so that we can give to our children appropriately. They want to know. They want to know, and they don't, and they're not going to be satisfied with nothing soft, nothing cream puffish. They're not. These kids are. I mean, it's too much information coming to them, and it's too much that they're being exposed to, for them to accept some soft stuff. You really can't talk to no hardcore children with a real soft voice. I mean, they want to see that you are really sincere, that you're willing to be aggressive if need be, to put them in their place as a child, just long enough for them to listen and take heed to what you got to say. So all of these, and a lot of our leaders, and I'm not trying to abandon or separate or cause any division between myself and anybody else out there that's trying or putting forth some work. But we have to be sincere about what we're doing. It can't be for clicks, clickbait. It can't be for the camera. It can't be us. If you're not sincere about what you're doing, the babies see that. And they don't, I mean, you will be able to reach somebody. And thank God for that reach. But those who need it most, they're not gonna give you the time of day. They're not. They're looking for hardcore answers because this is what they're under. They're not looking for any cream puff, soft, mushy conversation. They don't. That's not what they're looking for. So leadership has to change. And I invite you all. I invite you to put something in common. Guide me. Tell me what you think I can do. What should I do? Offer your help. Give me some suggestions. Let's do what we need to do because we're running out of time. And what I'm saying that is, tomorrow's not promised. I'm here today, and I'm willing to do the work today. What I'm capable of doing, what I want to do, what I must do, I'm willing to put that in today. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but I'm here today. So put it in the comments what you think. I think the leadership definitely has to take a 360. We have to do something different. It's not working. The children who need it most, they're not the ones that I see being able to, you get a couple of them out of there when you find these organizations that's trying. And then again, when you go on YouTube, you don't even see a lot of, most of the stuff I've been seeing has been 5, 6, 7 years ago. Really nothing that's really dedicated to the youth of today. And that's what we got to do. That's why Master Making in Motion is for us, for the children's today. That's what my books are for. That's what these books are for. That's what it's about. This is about the children. Code and ethics for up and coming players. This ain't no soft, mushy stuff. You might not like it because it's not, I'm not, I guess, bowing to the system that system doesn't work. That's just my opinion. It hasn't worked for us. King, a master in the motion, king, a master in the making. This is about turning young children into leaders, giving them some guidance, and it's coming from I guess you would call me a what would I call myself? A polished player or a redefined street person, a gangster or whatever. This is somebody who been through the trenches, who don't want to see your babies go through what I went through. I don't want to see your babies end up in the penitentiary from bad decision making, stupidity. I don't want to see them get gunned down. I've been shot all up. I don't want to see that for our babies. I don't want to see that for your baby. I don't want to see that for my neighbors' kids. I don't want to see that for no black, no child, period. But the children that I come across the most looks like me and in my neighborhood. I don't want to see it for you. So that's what I'm here for. You can get these books at Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, King and Master in the Making, and the Code and Ethics for Up and Coming Players. These are self-help books, and I ask that you check them out. You can get them on softback, hardback, and audiobook. I believe they're worth listening to and checking out. If I said anything that you feel could possibly help someone you know, that can possibly motivate them and encourage them, I ask that you share it with them because that's how I get the channel to grow. You share what you just heard. I ask that you like, share, and you subscribe to the channel. I'm here. I'm here for us. And I want to see us be productive, change the course of our existence, and become the gods and the kings and the queens and the architects and the mathematicians and the great people that we really are. I want to inspire that. I want to encourage that. I want us to be that because that's who we are. And in that shit. So until the next time, I suggest that you do one thing. You be the example that you want to see in the world. I say simply be.